Welcome back. Welcome back to the Backyard Professor AIHI Fantasy Art channel, show, whatever you want to call it, video. I have my Marvel Comics t-shirt on. Yeah, baby. No, I can't name them all, but I can draw them, and I am in the process of doing so. So, on my first video, this is my second video on AIHI art. Now, I'm calling it AIHI art. My wife told me, your audience may not understand. It should be AI art. And I said, no, it's AI art. Let me show you this explanation. This is really important. Now, I don't know. I haven't looked around to see what people are calling this type of art. I'm calling it AIHI art. The AI in the front is for artificial intelligence. The HI is for the human intelligence, that is me and my art skills, with the art piece that the computer AI program generates after I type it in and describe it. So I combine my art skills to the computer generated art in a partnership of effort. So it's AIHI art. This is the AIHI art of the Backyard Professor. Carrie Shirts, that's me. So in my first one, I basically showed you the principle of how the artificial intelligent computer shows the art and all. Now I want to show you the idea. Now, this is one of my favorite elf pictures that I generated using the AI. Although it looks like his finger is almost a pen or a knife, doesn't it? But I love this profile picture. That is just, and look at the intricate level of detail on that armor. Oh, I mean, that is so fabulous, the way the light plays on it and all that. So that is one of my favorites, and that's the one I use as the thumbnail. Again, the computer took about 1 minute to put this together. It's fantastic. So if I had to, in my computer app, the sketchbook, I could literally just take his head off with his hair and put it on any other body I wanted. So that's where the human intelligence goes with the artificial intelligence, or I can just use this as is. So that's one principle of how that works. Now, this particular picture, and I'm sorry it's not larger. I wish I would have made it larger in my sketchbook. I apologize. I'm going to have to get used to doing this. This is one of those composites that I talked about. I generated probably 35 different pictures. My description for the AI engine to try to make was crows or ravens attacking a red-headed elf. And I wanted it in the fantasy genre. So this is my composition. The computer did not come up with this. What the computer gave me the first time was this redhead guy. See that, the biggest black raven there? It was only him and the raven. And then I generated the scenery, that is the mountain with that river by it, right? Then I put the kid and that raven in that picture. Now for the sky here, what I did is I kept, when you generate an image, if you like the image, great, you can use it. Or if you like a part of it. I find for me, from my point of views, that I like the parts of the images because there's some parts that I wasn't imagining or I didn't feel were useful, but there's a specific part I really like. Then I incorporate it into my app and I pull that part out and put it with something else. The sky on this image is 4 different generated skies. So there's 4 pictures in that sky view. And what I did is I basically just combined them and blended them. And this particular experience in my story is a really eerie, absolutely terrifying event that happens to the hero and his friends. So The different colors of sky, I didn't make it all one color on purpose, simply because of the nature of the event I was describing. So I thought that was really excellent that one of the generations gave me that orangish looking color. Another was kind of grayish. Another was really pretty blue. And another one was bright orange and red. I put them all together and just blended them. I think that effect is sensational for this. Then each part of that picture had different groups of the ravens. And then I was taking individual ravens from some of the other generated images, and I put them down here by his feet. You can look down by his legs and his feet, and there's 1, 2, 3 different birds there. And then there's that one bird that's diving and hitting him in the head, that small black raven there on the left of his head. And then there's that other bird that's grabbing his arm. Each one of those different birds is a different generation. And I just took them out of the picture because I just wanted the bird. And I was able to put this composition together. So it is AI generated, and you can't copyright any of the original AI generations, but this particular picture is copywritten. I own this picture. I created this composition. So that is how that kind of works with the conjunction of artificial intelligence and human intelligence. This is a fun picture. That's a scary part in the book. Great idea. Now this one. Oh, wow. I so love this picture. Man, wouldn't you love to have that as your backyard view? Holy cow. The scenery was AI generated, and it was so perfect I didn't touch it. I said, wow, I can't improve that. That's so magnificent. But I put the elk in there. Now, the front 2 elk that are fighting, I took photographs of a bronze of those elk, and then I recolored them to elk colors. And I changed up the angle. And so I put those in here. And then the elk behind, I drew in. So this is another example of a composition from artificial intelligence combined with human intelligence to make a magnificent picture. In their journey through the Tangor forest in my story, they run across this little valley, and they're able to get some meat to keep going on their long, arduous, and dangerous journey. So I wanted to put that in there. But look how beautiful the AI makes the scenery. Crap, you can't get it better than that. That's fantastic. So I love that slide. Now, this slide means something very special to me. This is, I did 50 generations before I finally got a picture I wanted. That's sometimes how tricky AI is. Now, if it looks a little funny, this is a gigantic statue in the middle of the forest on their trip. If you can see, I wish I knew how to zoom in and out. I don't think I can zoom in and out. I'll study that and see. I'm sorry this is so far away. But right at the top of that statue's nose, you can see a figure. That is my hero climbing up that statue to the top of the crown. He's finding an emerald ring. He saw it glittering in the sun, so he climbed up that statue. But that gives you the scale of the size of that statue. The little orange part you can see is the back of his head. He's in the process of climbing up there. You can't see it real clear here, but I couldn't find a way. See, they're going through the forest and they have enemies, and so they're not going to wear bright hunter orange, right? I mean, his hair is bright hunter orange, but he himself, they want to wear clothing that they can't be seen, and so that's what I was That's what I painted him as in this picture. But I mean, it's very difficult to see him, but that's what he's doing. So, and that ring definitely affects his lifestyle. So this is another example of my utilizing my artistic skills as an artist to, as far as a computer generated artificial intelligence scene of a giant statue in a forest, there's no way I would have come up with this. Just the entire concept of the head. See, I had it in my mind of an entire person of statue, you know, and it was going to be ancient. And I tried to describe it that it was chipped and broken, and one of the arms was broken off, and the AI can't, for whatever reason, they're still working on upgrading the AI. The AI just couldn't get what I had in my mind based on what I was typing to tell it to show me. It finally came up with this big head, and I said, that'll work. That'll work. And it's the head, of course, of the best queen of the lost kingdom in the Tangor forest from millennia ago. And the ring on top of her crown in the prophecy is supposed to be able to only be worn by the pure one. He wasn't even supposed to be able to touch it or it would strike him dead. And he did not know any of that information, of course. So he saw the glinting from below and he said, I wonder what that is in the sun, right? So he climbs up this statue and grabs that ring and puts it on. So, okay, so that's the story of that one. But I just love the light. I love how it put it in. I love how it showed the forest was growing on top of the head there on that statue. That is just so cool. So again, another idea on how artificial intelligence can help us artists create something truly fantastic. Now, this is one of the forest ogres that attacks my hero. And my hero truly is only about as tall as being up to this thing's knee. So this is a huge ogre. And what I did, I described, I tried to say, put together a gorilla and a troll. And it generated a few generations, and I kept trying to regenerate it to see if it would finally put it together, and it never did. So I said, okay, how about a gorilla and an ogre? And it did okay. And I said, okay, well, how about an ogre and a troll? And it did okay. So what I ended up having to do is I took the gorilla head, right, out of one of the generations. I took the troll body with that big belly there out of another generation. Oh, and I took the, it was a dark brown creature, but I thought, you know, it's a forest ogre. It's different from the ogres that they're going to be fighting in battle. These are really shy, and they don't come out and make swords and weapons and fight you with swords and weapons. This ogre was startled by the hero, so he simply grabbed a tree and uprooted it, and he was going to use that for his weapon. And actually, this is one of the females. So, but I had to completely repaint the face. Was a gorilla face. I said, I don't want a gorilla. I want kind of an ogreish. So I had to change up the look of the gorilla face. I completely changed the mouth and just painted in a bunch of crooked, broken teeth because that's what they would have. And I improved the hump on the back there. And then I left the arm holding the tree, and I left both arms holding the trees, but I had to recolor them green because the brown didn't work. And you notice, and it's kind of a brownish green on the one leg and on those toes, but it does look brown, and I left that because it's going to be dirty. It walks through water, it walks in the dirt, you know, dusty, dry day, mud, whatever. So the bottom part of the legs are realistically going to be dirtier. And then notice the number of toes. Now that at first I thought, oh no, I'm going to have to correct that. That doesn't look right. But hold on. Remember, in a fantasy, the creatures are fantastic fantasy creatures anyway. So they don't have to have 5 toes to make it fun. That's actually a mistake on the AI. I think what it did, it looks to me like what it did, and I just left it the way it was. It doesn't matter. It's okay as a fantasy picture, but I think it squished 2 feet together is what happened. Because it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, possibly 8 toes there. But it doesn't matter in the fantasy composition, right? So, and then you have that faraway mist. It's a dingy day and all that. So I really like this picture. This was the first actual battle with an actual enemy that the hero has. He has been going through some training and all. He's been through a lot of stuff in the meantime, finally getting to this. So it's a fun, it's going to make you laugh like crazy when you read it. It's funny. It's pretty good. So let's look at this next one. Now, here's my hero. I call him Witteroo. Witteroo Weed. Now, I'm doing language research for my book, and I'm using a lot of the Celtic and Old Norse words. Witteroo means a seer, someone who knows the cosmic world, the spiritual world. He is the knower of magic and enchantments. I mean, he's the chosen one of the ancient prophecy of one of the elf prophets from millennia ago. Now he's shown up. So he is called Witteroo Weed. Now, the weed stone is an actual seer stone, like Joseph Smith had. So my hero has a seer stone, but his functions way differently than Joseph Smith's. This guy's seer stone is much better than Joseph Smith's, but I thought I'd throw that in there for kicks and giggles, but it plays a major portion of the type of character that Witteroo Weed here, everybody calls him Witty, plays. And so here he has finally become of age as a teenager. They're in the Tangor forest. Their home has been destroyed. They're marching through this forest to another home, to another city way far away. And there's one of the elves up here on the rock there watching him fish. They run across this little stream, and Witteroo has had training in archery, and so he's hunting for some food. And so I showed him shooting this fish with an arrow, which of course he's not going to get. It's not the right setup for what we do. We have the round spool on the end of the bow, you know, and it has the arrow itself is hooked to a tether. And when you shoot it out there, it unravels off the spool, and then you can just bring it in by pulling the string. These guys don't have that kind of sophistication. They just have to shoot the fish, and hopefully they can get the fish. They can get the fish. So you'll notice on that tree behind him is a pine marten. Now, that's an actual photograph of a pine marten I took years ago when I was doing some of my wood art, my scroll saw wood art. And the gentleman the taxidermist that I took that picture, I have thousands of pictures of all kinds of elk and deer and bear and wolves and coyotes and all kinds of stuff. He gave me permission to use this. So I thought I'd put that in this picture of pine marten in there. You don't see pine martens in pictures, so that's kind of my fun little thing. And so this is my example of me putting together a composition, because the pine marten is actually a completely separate thing, and I was able to put it in the picture. The fish I generated with the artificial intelligence engine, and then I put it in here. Witteroo, I generated his face. Oh, I generated his body, but it wasn't. I had to draw that leg out better, and I had to tweak the perspective quite a bit and all. And then the elf I had already regenerated from a previous picture, and I just stuck him up there. So there's 1, 2, three, four, five separate elements in this picture of either artificially generated or my drawing and painting. And I put them all together, did all the shading to make them look like they belong together, etc. So this is one of my more enjoyable pictures. I had a lot of fun doing this one. So there's an example there again. And then, oh, this one. Now, this one was fun. I found this artificially generated art piece with the blue guy, the skeleton. I could not get it regenerated to anything close. So I artificially generated the sorceress, her face, and the costume. Oh my gosh, what a nightmare. Have you ever tried to artificially generate a sorceress's costume? Holy shish kebab. So I went through several generations of that, and I tweaked it here and there, and some of it was gaudy, and I tried to erase it and get rid of that, and I had to recolor some stuff. And when I finally got it all put together, it dawned on me, she just looked like she was like a rock in the picture. It dawned on me, well, and here's something to notice if you're not an artist, or even if you are. The bowl itself is baby blue. The light coming out of the bowl is baby blue. Well, look how the baby blue color is reflected on that skeleton's jacket, hoodie. That same type of reflection needs to be put on the sorceress and her clothing. Once I did that, bam, she blended right in. She looked like she belonged in the picture. And so that's another fun example of something I'm going to use in my story. This particular guy, Zabathe, I think is what I'm calling him. He is in between the dimensions of reality, between the physical world and the spirit world, in the mental world. I'll give you a hint about. So this sorceress is grabbing some really devious, powerful power that no one else knows how to use. She's learning it from this guy. So that's kind of fun stuff. Fun picture. Oh, this is my golden-headed unicorn. Now, in the legend of the golden-headed unicorn, the golden-headed unicorn is a child of the sun itself. It comes from the sun. So one of its powers, no one can ride the unicorn because she won't let them. And she has the sun's power. So she is superb and superior. So she chooses the rider, but the rider has to be a certain type of rider, right? When the rider is on the back of the golden-headed unicorn in a battle, if the rider gets hurt, the unicorn can use the sun to heal the rider. So if I remember right, my description was, I want the unicorn in the sky, connected to the sun in some manner or whatever. And this is what at sunset, and this is what it came back with. And it was so simply breathtakingly spectacular. I said, I'm satisfied. That's it. That's the one. I haven't even touched this one. So yeah, this one is artificial intelligence, except for the human typing in, describing what I wanted. And I did a few more generations of this image. None of them came close to this in just pure awesome. So that's going to be a fun one to put in my book. Oh, yes. This is the medium that visits Widaroo Weed when he's a child, and it terrifies him. But she is very important to give him a dimension of what his life quest is going to consist of. She gives him She is like the Delphi Oracle in ancient Greece. What she gives him is a bunch of riddles, and he is just too young to comprehend them. He says, "Lady, you're speaking gibberish. It doesn't mean a thing." But she does give him his first treasure map, and that will lead him into acquiring the proper tools in order to help him defeat certain types of his other enemies. Otherwise, he can't defeat him. Now, of course, he doesn't know any of this. And the Wizard and Muma, the lady who raises this boy, this hero boy, they don't know what powers they need to get either, what tools, but they're helping him with this treasure map. That was the essence of this medium. But when I did the AI art on this, oh my gosh, I was blown away when this showed up. In one of the generations, I said, that is so flippin' freaky. I'm going to hang on to that. I hung on to a lot of them, but this one in particular was just, this one just wows you. So I kept this one. She's going to be in my book. So that is one of the important mediums that visit this special chosen child who is not near mature enough, not near strong enough, not near intelligent enough to be the chosen one. So it sucks to be you, kid, but good luck. You're the chosen one. And so he gathers a group of friends and people around him to help him succeed. And eventually, you know how the story goes. No, you don't know how the story goes. I've got some good twists and turns in it. Now, this is okay. This is a fun picture, man. I mean, for sentimental value, this will definitely be in my book, of course. The Ukukra forest, where the Oracle of Ukukra has to be consulted, is a haunted forest. It's a very deadly forest, and anyone who goes in does not come out. Well, guess who has to visit the Oracle of Ukukra? Correct, the hero kid. But so do several of his other friends and family. And this is one of those scenes in the haunted forest of Ukukra. This is the first one I generated. This is one of those pictures that after I got done playing with it and tinkering with it, yeah, I even signed it on the bottom. You see that. Carrie Shirts 23 in orange. But I made an ogre, and then this ogre is grabbing this poor lady. You notice she's stabbing him right up through the groin with her knife. You can barely see her knife. And in the meantime, in the back, this guy has stabbed him in the back with that knife and speared him between his shoulder blades, and it comes in through his shoulder blades and through the back of the neck, and it comes through his mouth. This is called the killing of the ogre in Ukukra. But notice those trees. I would have never come up with this concept. That was all the AI engine. When I said, okay, make me a haunted forest. This is what it came up, and I was razzle-dazzled. I was blown away. I go, now that is cool. I want to do that, man. So I built these guys fighting in order to include this haunted forest idea. And since then, I've got many other ideas. But the Ukukra forest it's haunted, but it's going to have so much that they have to solve and get through and all that. And that's part of the story of my book. But I will have illustrations like this. But I just love how the AI muscles up these ogres and all. And then I can generate pictures of people in different positions and shapes, and I can draw their weapons, and I can put them in front or in back. I can turn them left, right, straight, forward, back, whatever. I can make them jumping. I can make them squatting down. I had her squatting down because he's grabbing her, and the ogre himself is overpowering the lady, even though you can see she's definitely fit, but there's another guy with the lady, and together they kill that ogre. Now that ogre is not one of the bigger ogres either. And that was this is my very first picture. And this is the one that got me thinking, gosh, I wonder what their story is. Why is that haunted forest haunted like that? And why are these guys in that forest? No. And I began coming up with the story to match the picture. And now I've got a whole book I'm writing. And so far, I have put together, I've been able to generate 52 images so far. So that is basically, that is a little bit more of an elaboration, an idea on what the AIHI, it's not AI. I'm pronouncing it AIHI, AIHI, because I'm including the artificial intelligence with the human intelligence. That's why I'm doing it that way. So I call it the AIHI art of Carrie shirts. So anyway, thanks for watching my videos. I appreciate all your love and support and contributions. I am going to set up a PayPal link. I do have the super chats available. I do have a PayPal. I just don't know how to put it on the website yet. I'll have to figure all that out, and I will in time. It's not a big deal. I'm having so much fun making these videos and making the artwork and playing the chess games and researching the history and philosophy and theology that this is just a hoot and handy for me. So thank you for everything you do for me. I will be back with more AIHI art as I develop it, which is pretty regular now and steady. It has become one of my very favorite hobbies. So there's a lot more to come. So thank you for everything. And I will be back. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. And Johann Sebastian said, no, I'll be back.